This is the Gatekeepers Podcast with Billy Grove and Corey Gentry. Billy and Corey are innovative leaders in the industry and love teaching others how to build quality fence. So sit down, grab a cold beverage, and get ready to talk about fence. Today's show is sponsored by Mr. Fence Academy. If you're looking to hit the next level in your fence company, check out Mr. Fence Academy. Real fencers, real job sites, real training equals real results. And now, live from the Mr. Fence Academy studios, here's your host, Billy Grove, and co-host Corey Gentry.
What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing on this fabulous Tuesday evening? I hope we've had a wonderful week since the last time we have spoke, and we all had a great long weekend with no work. I know I did. I went to the beach just about every day except for Monday. We just called it a chill day. Susan, I am not burnt. That's that Native American in me. I can put sunscreen on one time and I can be good for the rest of the day. So no burns here. But yeah, no. So we've had a wonderful week here. We got back to work today. Rained really hard last night. I had a stain job lined up for today. I got there and the client handed me the moisture meter back. He was like, "Hey man, thanks for letting us borrow this." And I was like, you know what? Let me use this while I'm here, because there was still water all over the ground. And I was getting the highest at 22.3 and lowest at 16.5% moisture. So we had to put that off for the day. Yeah, man, came back here, cleaned up the shop. And that was about it. And then, that was the day. Weekly wins is the transmission was covered under warranty, which I thought it was going to be. So that's awesome. That's awesome news. We didn't get it back today, but we'll get it back tomorrow. So, man, not having a working truck at the moment, like having them all break down at the same time is what a struggle. What a struggle. But without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest, Mr. Shawn King, and we're going to just go ahead and jump right into the podcast, man. It's going to be a good one, and y'all let us know where you're watching from. I see Susan down here. Hey, y'all, what is going on, Miss Susan K. Worley? I watched you earlier. But yeah, here we go. We're going to go ahead and bring on Mr. Shawn King. Wrong button. There we go. What's going on, buddy?
What's happening, man?
How are you, sir?
I'm back in the Indiana states, brother. Enjoying nice weather.
I see that, man.
Yes, you have down there. So.
How was your long weekend?
Well, it could have been better. We we tried going to the lake, and if you own a boat, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the first day out, one motor down, steering down.
Yeah.
So we made the best of it, man. We moseyed out to a cove and that's chilled, 3 days in a row. That's what we did. So
that's awesome.
Relaxed a little bit, but mostly I was just thinking about all the stuff I got to do this next week. This week.
Man, I left my phone in the beach bag for the majority of the time. I didn't even really even touch it. So I was I was completely disconnected for the whole weekend. So that was great. That was a great feeling. So very much needed after all of the bullshit, excuse my French, that we've dealt with the past 2 weeks. So it was nice to be able to just shut down and turn off and be like, you know what? Tuesday's a new week.
Well, we tried to get early start, Friday, but we had 3 super fencers that needed to get out the door Friday.
Yeah.
And so we were balls to the walls getting those things ready to rock and roll. So. And
you got what, 4 coming in, like right behind it too?
So yeah, we got these 3 heading out and 3 more coming in. So
3 more coming in.
We did
wow.
A live video today of that, of the 3 that rolled out. Did you see that?
No. I didn't even I barely touched my phone today. We were at the shop all day. Like I said, I went to go like stain that fence, and I got there, and I was like, no. I was like, if I do this today, you're gonna be calling me tomorrow saying how bad it looks. So,
Oh shit.
so yeah, man, it like poured over there on his side of town last night. It like it just sprinkled on my side of town, but it was super wet. So we got back. We had to do some maintenance on some drivers, and clean up the shop, and we routed some posts for the job tomorrow. So there was things to be done, absolutely.
Yep.
But all right, we got Mr. Mike Levy here. How are you doing tonight, sir? All
My
right,
man
so,
Mike, East Coast.
yes, sir. East Coast National Metal Industries. We are going to give a shout out to them as awesome stuff. But we're just going to jump right into it, Shawn. So I'm going to my first question, and it's kind of your story. So I know you released the Mr. Fitz Academy like versions of your story, and you don't have to do the full like I think all 3 parts are like 45 minutes. But it was a great one, man. I sat there and watched all 3 parts. I sat there and I went into a zone for 45 minutes and I watched it. But kind of give us your story about your upbringing into the fence industry and your journey to where you're at now.
Well, I'll try to keep this within a few minutes, so we're going to skip a lot of the details. But we started in the fence industry following my stepdad around as young as 8 years old. I was exposed to the fence business as a side job, right? My stepdad was in the military, and to make extra money, he would build fence on the weekends and his days off. So being that he's doing that, we are going to naturally be, exposed to it, dragged into it, part of helping dad get these jobs done. He's got 3 boys, so he's got to put them to work, and I would too. But I was 8 years old, 9 years old. There's pictures of me doing a chain link 4 foot tall tie up, and I probably wasn't older than 10, and had 2 grown men, and I'm sitting there doing the hookup on chain link on a 4 foot tall back then. So just being exposed to it around it doesn't mean I was building fence that young at all. I was picking up trash and hauling shit to the truck. Is all I was doing at that young age. I will say that I did start actually running a crew before I could drive a truck. So I was a foreman before I could drive the truck. So they would have to drive me to the job site, and these guys are grown men, and it didn't really work out very well. I didn't have the right attitude. My stepdad didn't train me very well in that respect on how to talk and communicate. So these guys we had working for us, I would run them off every other week. And my stepdad would be like, "What? Why do they keep leaving?" I'm like, "I don't know. They're weak. I'm like, give me another one. Let's go." Like, I didn't know how to slow down, be really efficient, methodical about how to build fence. All I did was work my ass off, like a lot of fence guys do. You're not going to outwork me. And redo shit, double down on it, do shit the hard way, just get it done. It's all the way I know how to do it. This is how we're going to do it. Boom, boom, boom. And wear these dudes out. And they'd be like, "I'm not working for that kid. He's out of his damn mind. We're going to get done till 9 o'clock at night." Like, no. And I'd be like, "Well, it's only 200 feet of fence. We're going to get it done today." Back then I thought that was monstrous. And I put 18-hour days in and do what we do now in a few hours. But so, I wasn't very good at being a foreman in the younger years. As I became older, 21, 22, started realizing that there's a lot more to running a fence business than building fence itself. And that's where I really differentiated from my stepdad. He was a doer. He was a guy that would just get it done, but really didn't have maybe the experience, the passion, the know-how. He missed the boat on like the financial and understanding running the business to make money, like making sure we're charging enough money for the jobs. And so there was a huge disagreement at that point in my life where I was old enough to know better and old enough to say, "I'm not doing this no more." And so we had a kind of a breakup in the family, and I went off and did my own fence thing. And then he went off and did his own fence thing. And the rest is history, right? So he's been out of the fence business for a long time, and we have been steadily climbing and trying to do our best to thrive since then. somewhere around that when I broke off and did my own thing is when I really had freedom to start working on efficiencies and tools and methods. And I didn't have someone tell me no, so I could try things. Like I could daydream or dream at night all night long. And how do we run pickets faster? How do we dumb it down to where people can do what I'm doing even better?
Right.
I thought I was pretty good at building fence, but I really wasn't that good at building fence. Not when you compare it to what guys are doing now with less effort, right? Like we got kids that are just zero experience. Yeah. I thought I was the shit, but you don't know what you don't know until you learn what you didn't know. And so we started building, and straight away was one of the first tools that we had. And then the equalizer was like another early on tool. And we first came out with that tool was nothing like it is today. It was archaic compared to what it is today. It was dangerous. It was dangerous.
Whenever we were up there last, your mom actually told us how you came up with the idea with a rubber band in class. I was like, no shit. Oh man.
I was in a financial budgeting planning class at AFA. This was at Northwest Show in Reno. I believe it was Northwest Show Reno. I believe it was in Reno. But they had classes, and I was in the classroom, and the shit was going right over my head. I did not understand the cogs and the margins, and I was just not getting it. In the back of the room, and there was an Amish guy sitting in front of me, and he had a rubber band, and he was kind of, you could tell, lost like me, but at least he had a rubber band he was playing around with, and he was stretching in and out, and the rubber band broke. So now he had this elastic band, and he laid it on the table, and he started doodling on it. So he started drawing lines on the band. And then he picked the band up, so they were equally spaced, and then he picked it up and went like this, and all the lines went equally spaced. And my mind went from finances to, oh my God, right? Like ding, ding. Awesome. I left the classroom, and I was not thinking of posts. I didn't immediately go to post. I went to railing balusters. My mind went to doing railing balusters because we were doing a lot of, we've always done decks. And back then, a lot of our decks were wood balusters, and we always wanted to be equally spaced. And so we were taught by our stepdad, put one in the center, use a spacer block, and work to the post on both sides and have a remainder. And I remember thinking, there's got to be a better way, and I can't get these guys to do the math. And so I went and got elastic strap for a waistband for making like shorts at fabric store, like that white you can buy at a strip that you would sew into a pair of pajama pants.
Yeah.
And I took that, I put marks on it, put thumbtacks on both ends, and gave it to my guys and said, here's your math. Tick, tick, doom. And they were able to do baluster spacing down to the 1/8 of an inch. It worked perfect. And that worked. And then one day I'm like, wait a minute. Can I get that same band? Obviously did not work for fence. We had to spend some time, trial and error, came up with what we have now today. But the earlier versions were a 3-person process. So a person either ended a bungee, right? They had to hold it. And then you would have the third person go down the line and mark the X's on the ground where the dig, and then roll it up, put it back in the truck. The next version, I got brave, and I took like 9 or 10-inch screwdrivers and stuck them in the ground to hold the first loop, and stuck them in the ground to hold the last. First loop, and then a guy had to hold the other end. So it was a 2-man process. But the problem was, sometimes the band would be so tight that the screwdriver would come out of the ground. And now me and the other guy that's holding the other end are dancing because now we have a projectile coming at us at Mach 10, flipping around, get this 10-inch screwdriver flying at you, and realize like, that's probably not very safe.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So we went back to then tying it to pins that were drove a foot or more in the ground. I had to teach the guys how to tie it because it was always coming undone, or they were tearing it up. And then we had tags that would rip your hand open because they were pinned on with staples. If you let it slide through there, I mean, where we've come from where it was to where it is now, night and day difference.
Man, that's awesome.
But we don't have a crew that doesn't build fence without it. There's no way they would be lost. But you asked, so we went, running our own business to making the tools, and I spent a lot of years not profitable at all, breaking even.
Right.
Mainly because I didn't know how to handle the finances. I wasn't focused on anything. I would be doing whatever job would come out. Like my ego would say, I could build that. I can sell that. Doesn't mean I'm gonna make money at that. And that's a key nugget you should pay attention to. It's not about
Right.
what you can do. That's not how you're gonna be successful. It's what should you be doing? What are you good enough to make money at, right? So for a long time, I took on jobs that were over our head, but I did them because I felt like it was bolstering my ego. Made me feel like I was a super ninja. Like, well, I built that. We built some pretty exotic fences and didn't charge enough. Basically like doing a piece of artwork and charging for a thrift store flea market price.
Right.
Because, I didn't understand. It's not about what I would pay for it. This is what I thought of as I was bidding jobs. Like, I would never pay that much for it, so I'm going to bid it for this. No, I'm not my customer. It's what would your customer pay for it? They want that, right? What's the value to them? Not what's the value to me. It took me a long time to figure that out. But we were not focused. I was focused on tools, training. My first training event was in Evansville. We had some guys fly in from Australia. As a manufacturer said, you got to see these guys build a fence. And we did a job, and they had a stopwatch going, pictures, and we just blew their minds. And we were just doing what we do every day. Like, I didn't know there's any other way. We had gate spacers back then, like SpaceX's. We had Thumper. We had Protector. We had Equalizer. Just like 2005. And ratchet strap for racking gates, all that stuff back then. So they flew us to Australia to go train. That was my first actual hired to go train a fence company in 2005 was Australia. We had a lot of guys over there. So the journey kind of went 2005, started training, tools were taking off, went to a couple of fence techs, wasn't making any money in the fence business, that's for sure, just surviving. And then they had the great bright idea that I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't know I wasn't really making money. So I started Deck Pros, Fence Pros, Stain Pros, King Enterprises, Mr. Fence of Kentucky, which was the franchise, Mr. Fence Tools, Mr. Fence. I think it adds up to like 7 or 8 businesses.
Right.
In 06 to 08. And I remember I didn't know how to run a business to begin with anyways. And here I have now 7 or 8 of them. And I thought I was being thrifty because we'd have lockers in our shop, and the guys would have different shirts. So if you're working for Fence King today, you put on a Fence King shirt, drive a Fence King truck. If you work for Deck Pros today, you put on a Deck Pros shirt and drive a Deck Pros truck. All of these companies worked out of the same office, and we shared the overhead. We had literally phones would ring with different ringtones, and you would answer the phone as Deck Pros or Fence Pros or Mr. Fence Kentucky or King Enterprises or Fence King. Fence King was another one. That's right. We had Fence King back then. And the reason why I had multiple fence companies was we were doing Lowe's and Home Depot installs. Yeah. And I didn't want our name associated to that quality of work, but I also realized there was a volume of work there that we weren't getting. So we created another company, and that company did all the work for those Lowe's and Home Depot, which also opened up the idea, not saying it was right and it didn't work out very well, but the idea was if I'm going to compete against my competitors in my market, would you rather fight that on your turf, that war, or on their turf? In other words, would you rather go fight a war overseas or fight a war here in your backyard? And so what I mean by that is we were focused on higher end jobs. We were focused on vinyl and aluminum fence. But what would happen is the other guys who were competing against, their primary focus was the lower end jobs. But because they were thriving on those, they were able to bid some of these better jobs, and every once in a while get one, take it from us, because it's law of averages. They're going to win those bids, whether they're better qualified or not. It's just going to happen.
Absolutely.
So I thought, what if I were to create a company that was so busy chasing them on their turf, in other words, doing low-end, ball-in work, and it didn't matter if I made money. I wasn't really making money back there anyways. But I thought, we'll just run Fence King, and I don't care if it breaks even. So we did that, and it did not work out the best like I thought it was going to. we were successful. We did, decent amount of work. So we were able to capture leads that we weren't capturing to begin with. And we were running that rat on that, or that hamster on that hamster wheel just as fast as it could go.
Right.
But there's really no money there because it was a lost leader, right? So these guys were taking jobs at lower margins because they had to beat Fence King. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So Fence King's prices were down here because it had no overhead, nothing. It literally just didn't matter. So they were competing with them, which made it hard for them to survive, to be successful enough to compete against Mr. Fence. But what cleaned our clock was 08 came and said, that's cute. You got 7, 8 job businesses that you really don't even know how to run. And now our economy's going to go whoop, and the work's going to fall out. So good news is we didn't file any bankruptcies. I saw the writing on the wall and closed everything down. We didn't have any debt really in any of them. And just went to Mr. Fence and Mr. Fence Tools, and then rode out the economy, right? And here we are, I don't know how many years later, but we've learned how to manage the finances a lot better, be more efficient in getting stuff in the ground. And now teams putting fence exponentially faster than I ever did, with way less training, way less effort, utilizing a ton of tools and methods. And I think we build tremendously better fence even now, even with taking almost like bringing the customized piece of it out of the equation, like taking Shawn King out of the equation and saying, all right, look, it may not be exactly the way you're going to build it, but does it meet homeowners' expectations? Does it exceed our industry average? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Heck yeah, man. That's what I love so much about the King's Plus method. It's amazing. Speaking of, we have one coming up on Friday. So
oh yeah,
pretty excited about that. Yeah, man. Pretty excited about that.
We got a King Plus training coming up in Michigan, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, the 5th, June 5th.
Yeah, 5th.
June 5th. Michigan, JLH Fence up there, Gaylord, Michigan, Jordan Hunt, be one of his job sites. It'll be a King Plus training. So if you're interested, my northern guys, right, keep asking. I know Gaylord's pretty high up there, but it's there. It's happening. It's going down. And if that doesn't work for
wrong, right? We're going to prove them wrong that you can't drive stuff, right?
Well, I think we're past that, right? I see less of that these days. Like, there's still a few guys that just say you can't do it here, and that's fine. But the masses aren't at least tearing us up anymore and saying that's impossible.
Oh, man. Man, I had a funny experience with that the other day on one of our local contractor pages. Some dude posted a fence, and it was god awful. So, like, instead of me, like, flaming him, I was like, can I DM you? And so, like, we started like talking, and then he was like, no, I know it was trash. The homeowner insisted that it looked like this. Here's my fences on normal. I was like, all right. I get it, but I don't. I'm not going to let a homeowner tell me how to build a fence. But, like, I get it. But, like, and then, like, he was like, oh, hey, y'all are the ones that are driving posts, right? I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, oh, well, and, like, I'm not going to say any names because he was name dropping and everything. He was like, well, such and such, like, I've heard people complaining about, like, they're having problems with them. I'm like, what are they having problems with? I was like, because I can tell you right now, I can go take my MT100 and I can pull out a bailed out 30-inch hole with like 120 pounds of concrete, almost like butter. And I got that MT100 up on its tippy toes pulling out a German post. So I don't understand. Like, please explain to me what you think is like different. And he was like, I don't know, man. I just don't trust it without concrete. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, you can not trust it, but I'm telling you, I've seen them, and it's absolutely stronger, and it's absolutely a way better method. So,
yeah, it's okay that not everybody embraces it, right? We need that differentiation.
Absolutely.
It's going to help those that are pioneering the way to thrive, period. Bottom line. Like,
yeah,
it's fine. We don't need everybody to adapt. We don't need everybody to agree. Eventually somebody will take it another step further and pioneer something even better. I don't know. Floating things.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll have something that just grows out of the ground.
Gravitational pull. And we're like, that's bullshit. You can't do that. You got to have a pole in the ground.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's
Oh man,
happening.
I see it. Oh,
Mark it.
absolutely happening. Absolutely happening.
Mark it
So,
down.
right. All right, man. What was the drive behind the Mr. Fence Academy? What was the drive behind like starting that? Because I love everything that you do like with that.
Yeah, it's a learning what your true passion or gift is. It's something we talked about at the retreat recently. And my true gift, absolutely, is not building fence. Nope, is not building fence. There's a lot of guys out there that are more talented at the doing of building fence than me. Mr. Fence is that's just not my talent. My talent also, my gift probably is not running the finances of a business either. It's really uh, something that I've learned the hard way. It took me a long time to get through the weeds on that, and we get by. We do pretty well with it. But what my gift is, what fills my cup, what makes me happy, what's really I enjoy doing, is sharing and teaching. And it really came to fruition in law enforcement when I was in there for about 9 years. Um, as I went through that process, about midway through, I became a FTO. So this has been like 2014, 2015. And as an FTO, that's what your field training officer, that's what you do is you train the new people over and over and over. When you get done training this one, you train that one. You get done with that one, there's another one coming. So, and we're talking about like how to drive a car, how to talk on the microphone, how to make a traffic stop, how to tactically enter the house, how to do everything. And it's like deja
Right.
vu, right? It's almost like
Yeah.
Groundhog Day over and over, you're
Yeah.
like, and what I learned was, man, I really like seeing the light bulbs go off. I like watching people go through that process of being scared, intimidated, no confidence, or have just flat out no clue, and then watch them become successful and see them, heck, become better than I ever was, right? And so
Right.
that part of it is what drove the academy piece as I started helping some people um, through what they thought were catastrophic problems in their fence business. I remember thinking like, that's cute. That's the problem you have. Oh shit, that's that's nothing, right? Like
Right.
you're not even in the ballpark of problems, bro. Let me tell you. If it'll make you feel better, I'll share all my problems with you, and you'll just. And so, doing that and experiencing that and seeing the light bulb goes off it took me a while to realize that that's really what I'm most passionate about. But I had to organize it. It couldn't just be me just willy nilly going around helping people here, there, and everywhere. There had to be some sort of organization to it. And I wanted it to become a platform much bigger than Shawn King, where there's a lot of people that have a vehicle, an opportunity to grow and share what they know, what their gift is, what their passion is, with others as well. So the hope is we're not even done, not even close to done with Mr. Fence Academy. We want Mr. Fence Academy to end up being just a whole group of vetted and really passionate, dedicated individuals that are on a mission to help others. It just so happens that we're doing it in the fencing industry space. I don't think we're always going to say in the industry space. We're having talks with another coaching platform, and we may end up partnering with them, which is a whole other industry. But sharing what we've learned in our industry, what they've learned in their industry, and bring it together. And again, you're just helping people become more financially successful, less stressed, take care of their families, which goes back to the core mission. I say it all the time. Take care of your team plus one, and it starts with you. You got to make sure
Yeah.
you're squared away first, so you're not a liability for somebody else to take care of. Don't be somebody else's plus one, which means you got to have your shit squared away. But also make sure that no one on your team is somebody else's plus one, and then find somebody else out there that needs a little help. Make that your plus one. And if we all do that, this world would be a totally different place. So
Right.
so the academy has grown into an opportunity, a vehicle, or a platform to not only let me share my gift and my passion, but hopefully to give us a vehicle for multiple people to do that same thing on a vetted, trusted network of coaches that if somebody, it's just like other academies in other industries. If you say, oh, I came from this academy or I went to that college, you're like, oh shit, he went there. It's because
Right.
not one guy there, but there's the whole platform of people that are dedicated in the right direction. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And I've slowly but surely found out that that is also one of my passions, is not just building fence, but teaching people how to build fence, and
Yep.
teaching people. I might have more of the in the field experience, but that's one of my favorite things, man. Is taking a brand new person. It could be a kid, it could be an older man, it could be whoever, and just watching them get the process and be like, oh man, this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Whenever you use a process that has been vetted by multiple different people, multiple different companies all over the country, and at the end of the day, it's a no-brainer. It's like, why would you not follow this?
100%.
Yeah.
So that's why, and it's
Yeah.
growing exponentially. I can tell you what, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, who was the first member?
I think the first member, I want to say, is Chris Steele.
I thought so. Because every time I like ask him, he's like, "No, I wasn't the first member." I was like, "Yes, you were. Just take it."
It was close.
Take it.
So Chris Steele, Chris Gass, like those guys. I was coaching at my kitchen table in the evenings, right? So like, I remember eating dinner and a Zoom call with those guys. Like that was way back in the beginning. But I think they were pretty damn close. Cannon Johnson was an early one as well. Yeah, way back.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Well, all right. So let's talk about some demo days at the Fence and Security Show by the FWA in September coming up, because I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. We've already had our meetings and everything. I'm pumped. So let's.
So we have demo days, and then we have Fence Wars. All right. So Fence Wars is happening outside in the demonstration area, right? So those are going to be smaller events dedicated to just a task, like wire ties. How fast can you put the wire to hog rings on? Like literally a race, ready, set, go, with some money behind it, like thousands of dollars in prize money behind Fence Wars. So we need to get people out there, get after it. We want to find those people that actually have a pretty good talent at doing any one of those tasks. There's people in our industry that are really good at setting the posts, wire tying. Right? They probably wire tie so fast, make our head spin. Like, oh my God, how'd you just do that? I've seen that before. I've been on job sites in training, and I remember doing a chain link fence and saw a guy wire tie so fast. I'm like, whoa, do that again. No, do that again. Slow down. How did you just do that? Like, blew my mind. I couldn't even possibly move my fingers that fast. But he's done so many of them that he's like, no, just like this. No, not just like that. Exactly. How did you do that?
Yeah, right.
So we're looking for those guys that have those talents that want to win some money. Then there's some events that are just for fun, whether you're talented or not. Get in there and have fun with the Fence Wars. There's a slat. I think we're working on a slat installation for 10 foot where you got to install slats. That could be interesting to see, guys.
Yeah.
Privacy slats. How fast can you get them in? Right. So demo days, demonstrations. We want to have as many guys out there, vendors. If you've got a piece of equipment for our industry, whether it is a hand tool or it is a full-blown piece of equipment, or heck, if you got a freaking truck and you want to have fence guys put their hands on it, and girls, try it, ride it, use it. This is the perfect opportunity, right? Yeah. Let's see what it can do. We have a wide open space. They can drive it. They can use the tool out there. We hopefully will be able to have a fence competition to build some fence. I believe it's Thursday morning. So we got Fence Wars.
Are we still like awaiting approval to build those fences? I thought we already got approval for that.
I don't wait for approvals.
Okay. I was like, I thought from the meetings we had already got approval of it too. I like build those fences.
Well, that's for Brian to figure out. We're just going to go do it. And
right.
Susan will have to like fill in the gap afterwards. Brian will be like, I told him no, and Susan's like, but they did. And I'm like, it's already done, Susan. Like, go
It's
figure it
already
out.
done.
Like,
Yeah.
go talk to who. There's a fence there now. That's all I can
Yeah.
tell you, right?
And
Nobody's, I've no one's agreed to allow me to use the crane yet as an emergency exit device for the maze.
I know that's
Fire
been
marshals
mentioned
want
in
us
the
to have
meetings
emergency
a
exit
couple
gate.
times.
Like, how can you have emergency exit gate in a chain link fence maze? It'd be pointless to have gates off. No gates. Well, how do you get people out in emergency? A crane. Just drop it in with a lifesaver ring. I mean, the Coast Guard does it when you're in the ocean. What's the difference? That's approved. I don't see why it wouldn't be approved.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Life or
That's
death here, right?
awesome. Yeah, right.
Have a
That's
crane
awesome.
on standby, right? It'll be fine.
Oh, heck
It'll
yeah.
be fine. That'll definitely
And
hold.
so, like, just for those who don't know, guys, we are going to be holding a fence building competition as well. If you want to drive up your crew and you think you got the best crew, it's time to put them to work and show them what you got. If you don't have a crew and you would like to be a part of a team, we're also putting together teams as well, so that way you can be a part of, team A, team B. We're also going to have them like sponsors.
Let's see somebody build a dream team. I don't know if it'd be good, bad, or ugly, but like get 3 or 4 guys that are damn good and see how they work together.
Yeah, and it's going to be a straight line of fence, and you're gonna run what you brung. So
Yeah, 4 hours is our time limit, and I think we're talking like 96 feet, so there should be no problem with that. We have multiple vendors donating material. It should be wood privacy, vinyl privacy, wood privacy, I think is what we're talking about so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, run what you brung. We're gonna. I've got this idea of possibly building a super fencer truck and unveiling it there, because we also have the fence contests, right? So fence truck contest. Yeah, if you got a badass fence truck, let's get it out there, and let's line them all up and let's talk about them. So we just rolled out 3 more super fencers a day, but I have this idea of building something on a completely different platform and then taking it to Vegas and unveiling it. Try something different.
Okay. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
There'll be robotic arms that come off and launch a vehicle out of it. I mean,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, if it gets here in time, I have ordered something from another country that is parts, and there's something you hold in your hand, and there's no gas motor, and this thing just crawls out, and then there'll be drivers on it, compressors on it. Like imagine deploying that out the back of a super fencer and building fence like crazy by yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds like you bought a robot.
Close. Yep. Well, it's not really a robot. It definitely is not a robot, but it has tracks and remote control.
Yeah.
And it holds thousands of pounds of battery operated. Could be made by Tesla.
Hey, well, speaking of tracks, how'd the little one do? How'd the track pounder do?
The Evo?
Yeah.
I think the Evo's got a shit ton of horsepower behind it, so it can pound through some hard ground quickly. It can pound some big posts quickly. What we've found out is it's a little difficult for untrained operators to efficiently use it quickly to put in some of the smaller posts like 2 3/8 or 2-inch in a residential backyard where you don't need the horsepower, right? So there's definitely an art to it that we haven't figured out yet. We actually damaged the metal crowl of it by using the mask inappropriately, trying to dry posts, and then somehow brought the mask in too far and damaged the front metal protective crown of the motor, which is not good. But that's absolutely due to not having it dialed in as an operator. So the downfall is getting over the hump with operators on operating it, hauling to the job site. But hands down, it's got more pounding power than any gas-powered hydraulic pneumatic handheld unit by monumental amounts, like enormous more power, but
Right.
almost like too much power. It's hard to keep the posts exactly where you need it without a bunch of movement. So time it takes, right? We can drive with the bull in most conditions, or even a US hammer in most conditions, in less than 2 minutes. But it might take a minute or two to get the Evo lined up in position and the post lined up and everything ready to go before you start pounding, even though when you start pounding, it'll push the post in 15 seconds in the ground. But at that speed, it's hard to keep it plumb at the same time. It's happening so fast that
Right.
you got to slow down to make sure it's going to the ground so damn fast. Is it going exactly where we need it to go?
Right.
So
Right.
fantastic machine. And I think it's just going to come down to user experience, get behind the machine in a wide open area, use the shit out of it, become good with it. And maybe it's also dial in the controls, right? So this is first one. So it's a little bit aggressive. You touch the button and it moves quite a bit. If we could dial those back where it's a little more, what would I say? Not user friendly, but less reactive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Less reactive, right?
A little more like play in the switch. So that
yeah,
way
like playing for like move. Okay,
Yeah.
it's starting to move, right? Right now, boom, boom, boom. It moves on demand instantly.
Right.
So that's those are things that they can work with, I know, and dial in. But as it sits right now, that unit is probably too powerful with not dialed in enough for the finesses of a smaller post in soft ground.
Right. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a beast of a driver. It just seems like more of an ag fence thing, like to me.
I think they got badass ones for ag fence. I think that this has a home for it in the residential market. It just needs a little bit of fine tuning.
Right. Evan Gardner says they make a mini bull driver. No, this was a Evo ProTech. What was it? FP15, FP35, something like that.
I don't remember the name, man.
I forget, but it was almost like a little like mini Bobcat or like a something. And
yeah, actually, I think it's like a Georgia buggy platform.
Yes.
Right, like a Georgia buggy concrete hauler platform. Take that off, and then they put the ProTech machine right on it.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
But, you saying a Kenworth? NPR, whatever it is, would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I see Evan Gardner's got some things in the works, man. Looks pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, give him a shout out for the wingman. For those guys using Postmasters, that is going to be the deal. It's like an X-Man, but specifically made for Postmasters. Even with arms that are adjustable, there's easy installation. 2 wingmans.
Looks pretty cool.
You're going to take the stress and the struggle of putting those 2x4s up on Postmasters away, which is why we don't use Postmasters. But he's definitely got a tool that'll make that a lot less stressful.
Absolutely, man. Doing some big things, and you should go ahead and get yourself a bull, Eric or Evan, because I see you got 4 US hammers, man. We love ours. After we got all the kinks worked out, after it's been great. And shout out to the guy at Puma, Ken, I think it was. Our pulley walked off and broke the first day, and he had it to me shipped overnight. So that was awesome.
How did your pulley break off and disappear?
It didn't disappear. It, like, the small pulley walked itself all the way to the cage, and it was just 2 people out there driving, and it was in the front yard, so nobody heard it. And it just rubbed the cage long enough that it just broke the pulley.
So I've seen that one other time. That's 2 times now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I called him. I was like, I don't know what happened. We didn't do anything, but he sent me a pulley overnight, and we got it fixed. And man, it's good to go. Love it. But Shawn, you got any final thoughts for us?
I like what Mike said. The Shawnee 5, the robot fence driver.
There we go.
The Johnny 5. That's gonna be fun stuff.
Heck yeah, it is.
No, I think that the get to the fence show demo days. If you're a vendor and you're thinking about coming to demo days, like there's no better place in time that we've seen in any recent events to demonstrate your
And
products in real life than at the demo days.
also, guys,
right?
we forgot to say it is a 23-acre lot. All right, it's not.
I
a
think
little
technically
small
it's
lot.
26 if we're really going to be accurate.
Yeah, but it's huge. It's huge, guys. We're not talking about some small little like parking lot. We're talking about a giant field. So
We got there's a potential for a concert sponsor
yeah,
coming up for demo days out there. That should be hopefully finalized here very soon. Get some good times out there. I could see a bunch of guys and girls hanging out in the demonstration area with fence trucks everywhere and fence supplies and fence tools. It sounds like a good time.
yeah, it
So,
does.
we also have Mr. Fence Academy installation training in Evansville, June 13th and 14th, Thursday, Friday.
13th, 14th.
It's the day before Father's Day. The day before I got to leave town to go do a training in Denver. 13th and 14th. So that's on Eventbrite. That's on Mr. Fence Academy Facebook page. Message me. We're going to be doing vinyl, aluminum, and wood, no dig in Evansville.
All three?
Yep.
Nice. Guys, if you have not been to one of these trainings, you need to get there. Get to the one in Michigan or get to the one in Evansville. It is going to be a guaranteed good time. And you're going to walk away and you're going to get in that plane or you're going to get in that truck to go home and you're going to think about everything that happened. And when you get back, you're going to be so pumped to go put some fence in the ground. It's going to be unbelievable.
It's just a great experience to have guys passionate, dedicated in a relaxed environment on a job site, right?
Yeah.
Real job site, real fencers, real training equals real results. It's different than what we've seen in our industry before. What we're doing is pretty cool. It's fun. Get you fired up.
Man. Dude, I mean, every time we come back, I like the next 3 to 4 weeks, I'm just like absolutely pumped. Like,
I do also have we have a new, I don't know if it's called a tool or not. We used to have this many years ago that we just built 3 more of. So I wouldn't call them prototypes because this is us rebuilding the same tool that we had 10, 15 years ago, bringing it back to life because we're finding a need for it. So if you have wood gates that are warping, where the top or the bottom of the wood gate moves in or out and does not line up with the latch post. So not a sagging gate, but if you have a gate that's twisting to where the homeowner calls you back and says, hey, the top of the gate is in, the bottom of the gate's out, or vice versa, we have this thing called the de-warper. And you can attach it to your warped gate, no matter how old it is, or a sagged gate, and we'll fix that too. Once you attach it, the homeowner turns a knob and controls the twist. So as you go through the season, when the gate gets wet, weathers, go through the winter season, the summertime, it dries out really bad, you can turn that knob, the homeowner can twist it just with a hand turn, very easy to turn it, and it will walk that gate perfectly back in line. Easy to install with 2 lags, that's it. Easy installation, powder coated black, goes in tension on the inside of the gate. So we built 3 of those today. We're going to get some videos and stuff on them soon. And get them out maybe next week or so. That will be available. So we've got that coming. We're always innovating and trying new stuff. And that's one thing that literally just happened. The other thing that just happened was, those stakes that we use that we highly suggest everybody use, a double head pins. They're super high dollar and hard to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have finally partnered with the manufacturer of those. We're going to get the price down. And we're going to powder coat them. So there'll be a neon color. So you don't go about losing these high dollar stakes. We just did them on the trucks that we released today. Neon orange. We're doing some neon blue or high Mr. Fence blue tomorrow. And then we have the holders for them. And you can bolt them to your own trucks. So 12 stakes in a cage. that'll hold them right, and you can bolt that to your truck, and those will be available next week as well. So big things
As
happening.
long as they're not powder coated black, right?
No, yeah, I wasn't going to do that. It's not going to help. We're talking like neon orange, blue, yellow. Give me some hot orange. Give me some red color. Give me something that's visible. These things,
right.
are on Amazon are $34
Yeah,
each, right?
absolutely.
So we're hoping to get that cost down to like 27 powder coated. And if you buy them in a kit, 12 with the frame and the inserts, probably end up getting even a better deal. So the only thing might hit us is shipping. They are heavy.
Oh, well, hey, I mean, at least they work though.
We haven't bent one yet. I don't know what the hell they're made out of, but god dang, these things are stout. They last forever if you don't lose them, which is why we're powder coating them high vis.
I've been those 3-foot ones from Lowe's about once a month.
Yep. Be done with them.
Yeah.
Over. These things don't bend, man.
Heck yeah.
So, there you go. Yeah. Last thoughts. There you go, brother.
All right, man. Well, hey, guys, if you do want to go check out some awesome fence tools, guys, go to www.mrfencetools.com. Go and just totally immerse yourself in the website, man. Awesome tools, awesome stuff. If you're interested in Mr. Fence Academy, www.mrfenceacademy.com, and that has all the information to join. And Shawn, where can they go to find all of the trainings? Is it the Facebook page?
So you have Mr. Fence Academy Facebook page for the events. We keep those on there. We also do pro fence tips and tricks, where we always post those events there as well. And then for good content, don't forget about the YouTube channel. We have 2 of them. Mr. Fence Academy YouTube channel, tons of content on there. Mr. Fence Tools YouTube channel, again, a lot of content on that. So we have Mr. Fence Tools Facebook page, Mr. Fence Academy Facebook page, 2 websites. We also have a TikTok out there that has a ton of content that we put on there. Try to be helpful content. I think it's called The Mr. Fence, I believe is what or Mr. Fence Academy, one of the 2.
All right. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for coming on, man. And I will talk to you soon. And you have a wonderful rest of your night. All right.
Thanks, brother. Take care of Team Plus One. See ya.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that is the show for tonight. And guys, thank you for commenting. Evan Gardner, thank you for commenting. Mike Levy, as always, thank you for watching, sir. JC Guri signs, what's going on? I know I didn't really get to talk back to a bunch of the comments, but guys, if you have not been to one of these trainings, I cannot stress enough to get yourself to one of these trainings. I don't care what it costs you. Shut down your company for the last half of the week. Do what you got to do. Get yourself to one of these trainings and figure out how to be more efficient in the field and make yourselves more money by working smarter, not harder. And with that said, guys, y'all have yourselves a wonderful rest of your week. I hope everybody sells a whole bunch of fence. I hope everybody puts a whole bunch of fence in the ground. And make sure to get your tickets for the Fence and Security Show by the FWA. Show is the week of September 11th. Be there or be square, Las Vegas, Nevada. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, guys.